Chapter 326, You may not have to die if you give birth to Yashiki. If I could end this 1,000-year-old wish before my life came to an end, Lord Yu would end this 1,000-year-old wish. Well, that adult can definitely do it. The ancestral house Shikiki tenant supported her husband, while saying, "It's just that it's really unexpected that the swordsman sent by Lord Yu is actually stronger than that yellow pillar in 283. I really want to see with my own eyes what kind of existence is Dragon Empire. Husband, maybe Lord Yu can get rid of Gui Wu Wusun before the curse on you completely strikes. If that happens, the curse on you will be lifted. Maybe you can really break the curse and survive successfully." At the end of the day, the face of Shiaki Shizuki was covered with tears. It would be great if it could really be like that. A look of yearning appeared on Saya Shikia's face. If you can survive, who would want to die? A few days ago, I got news that the vanguard troops sent by Mr. Yu have been stationed on Nation Spider Mountain. But I haven't advanced to other realms for the time being. I guess I'm going to officially destroy Gui Wu Wujai before I will start a massive invasion. But these are no longer the issues we should consider. That's right, Lord Yu should be a good ruler. Meanwhile, on the other side, in a temple with a pillar wall standing next to it, one has a high ponytail with long black hair and long hair, wearing a purple snake pattern kimono. Black horse rides F. The user has the following guoyueni, the left forehead, right chin to the neck, respectively. The same red marks. At the same time, the six-eyed warring state swordsman with more flame markings on his neck than guoyueni. He is 12 Ghost Month, the strongest one of the strings, Ghost of Sword, Black Dead Eyes. Black Death Eyes seemed to suddenly notice something zero on the expressionless face. Suddenly, an angry look appeared. Then he spoke. Akaza's breath actually disappeared. You dare to defeat Akaza? Have you ever made a wild statement that you want to defeat me? Bastard, I have given up even the bright future of reaching a higher level of Shu. I am extremely weak. As the words fell, swish 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 swish, the Black Dead Eyes drew their swords out of the sheath like lightning. Cut all the surrounding pilasters by 3.9. Relieve the anger in your heart. In a beautiful courtyard with suitable mountains and rivers. The other one has yellow hair. And a man with colorful eyes. It seems that at the same time, I felt the demise of Akaza. How could it be that Lord Ikaza was killed by members of the ghost-killing team? Chapter 327, The Miserable Child Mode. This person is in the 12 Ghost Moons. The second most recent position to the Black Death Eyes, Wind String 2, Ice Ghost Tongma. Tongmo's face showed a look of doubt. Murmur. The breath became very strange in an instant, but this should be my illusion. Will that man really die? All Lord Akaza seems to have become some other creature. But if he is dead, then there is no way to know. 04. Old Akaza, I have reminded you a long time ago that eating women will make you stronger, but you just don't believe it. Well, now you will suffer the consequences. I clearly told you that the nutrients in women's bodies can even allow them to freely conceive and raise fetus in their belly. So just eat a lot of women and you can become stronger. But you, Lord Akaza, not only do you not eat women, but you even don't kill them. It's really incredible. But what is even more surprising is that the adult finally acquiesced to your behavior. Your Excellency Akaza, you have received special care. Butwo thought you died suddenly today. I'm really sad. After all, in my heart I always regard you as my best friend. Looking at the entire winding, there are only the strongest Black Death Eyes and Tongmo. You can feel the disappearance of Akaza's breath. The other three, winding, did not notice this. Only. There is another person who knows the news of Akaza's death far earlier than Black Death Eye and Tongmo. That is the ghost dance that he personally gave to the other party's ability. More than 10 minutes ago. In a certain town. In a gorgeous building. A middle-aged rich business couple is full of happiness. Talk to friends about their adopted sons whom they adopted from the orphanage. Although there is no actual blood relationship. But the wealthy businessman was very caring for him. Love is good. This is such a smart kid. Yes, we too have no children. I was very disappointed about this. I've been relieved by this. I've been feeling good now. Yes, we live a happy life every day now. The child is very gentle and knows how to take care of servants. He shows a gentle temperament at such a young age. Well, although we do not have a substantial blood relationship, we too have actually regarded him as our own. And I want him to inherit the great business that I have worked hard for. Is that so? I really envy you. I want to exchange it with you for the stupid son in our family. Ha 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 ha. Chapter 328 Wusong's Anger. But I have to say that he is such an excellent and good kid, but that kid has a skin disease and cannot go outdoors during the day. Oh, it's so pitiful. Yes, so I also hope that our company can make special medicine 7 if he is cured one day earlier, it will be good. Just as the few people on the first floor were having a lot of chatting. In a room on the second floor, a young man who looked over teenager was flipping through books on bookshelf about herbs. Suddenly, the face of the boy who was originally kind in this article actually showed a ferocious look on his face. Originally innocent pupils. Chow instantly transforms into a fierce vertical pupil. That is the pupil that only Ghost has. That's right. The true identity of the boy. It is the Ghost King, Ghost Dance, who has always been unpredictable. I'm afraid no one can imagine it. He actually took such a gesture. Appears in human society. Bastard, Akaza, you dare to let down my gifts and expectations, for you not only did you not help me find Blue Red Riding Flower, you were even one in the middle of the year. For more novels 30,445 join. The pillar was not killed. Quote. Gui Wu's face instantly became extremely cruel. Anyone can see it. At this moment, he was really igniting his true energy. He never thought of it. As Shang String 3, Akaza is so useless. But what made him feel even more angry was Akaza would actually die at the hands of an unknown swordsman. Is that guy's subordinate? Gui Wu's brows were furrowed. Judging from the information that Akaza gave back to him before his death. This green-haired swordsman. And another polite swordsman in black. It all came because of the man's instructions. Is it true in this world? Except Ghost Kill Team. What other ghost hunting forces have appeared? When I think of this, Gui Wu's face showed an uncontrollable sneer of contempt. Whether it is a new force or Ghost Killing Team, I must be the one who wins the final victory. Just a pillar, what can I do if I deal with it? Ghost can defeat humans, which is an irrefutable truth. What I want to do is to completely eliminate the entire Ghost Killing Team, and to completely kill them without leaving any trace. Make these damn guys no longer appear in front of me, and they can no longer get in my eyes. This is obviously just an extremely simple thing, but those you can get the money wastes have not been able to complete it for a long time. What's going on? Let's. Akaza, even if you couldn't kill Pillar, but there was clearly the little ghost wearing special earrings on his ears at that time. Why didn't you even be able to do it? Kill. I was so proud that I had sent you nearby. Akaza, you trash, I am really disappointed with you. Chapter 329 Waiting for Instructions. I was actually killed by a swordsman who was not even a pillar. Such Shang 3 seems to have really declined, and it's better to die. But Ghost Killing Team, don't think I will let you go easily, don't be found by me. On the other side, with the support of members of the Demon Killing Team, Hawkeye and Zoro. Soon we arrived at the Demon Killing Team headquarters. After Yuya Shikia met the two in person. Then they lined up and settled down first. Wait for Yu's next order. Hawkeye and Zoro naturally had no objection to this. The purpose of their trip. The purpose is to sweep away all the minions and teeth of Guiwuwusan's subordinates in the 12 Ghost Moon in advance. All obstacles were eliminated for Yu's personal, decisive battle. And now. Their first step was done perfectly. Of course I'm not so anxious. On the other side. Under the leadership of the Purgatory Apricot. Tanjiro Zaoman follows along. Finally arrived at the Purgatory. Purgatory Apricot Sorora himself was sent directly to the Butterfly House to heal his wounds. But the news from Butterfly Ninja is not optimistic. The injuries suffered by Purgatory Akatsura were too serious. Even if all cures come later, it will also leave serious sequelae. More importantly, Purgatory Atsushiro's strength can no longer return to the past. Such news. For the entire demon-killing team. They are all extremely heavy. Fortunately, the arrival of the two powerful helpers, Hakai and Zoro. It diluted the worries in Shizuya Shikia's heart. You are Chishoro, aren't you? Tanjiro Kaoru saw a boy with a look, hair accessories, etc. outside a courtyard, who was as good as the Purgatory Apricot Shoro. A hint of joy suddenly appeared on his face. He quickly stepped forward and said, I guess you must have heard of the news that Mr. Iroh, AEDJ, was seriously injured. But while Mr. Atsushiro was still awake, I left a message to you and Lingzhen let me convey it on my behalf. Brother. A look of worry appeared on Purgatory Chishoro's face. After a moment of silence, he spoke. I already know about my brother. I just didn't expect that people as powerful as my brother are not opponents of. Yes, the strength of Wind 3. Tanjiro Kaoru had just spoken. Then I suddenly heard a loud roar full of energy from the courtyard. Don't worry about him. Anyway, maybe I just left some boring words. Purgatory Shoro held the wine pot in one hand. He shouted at Tanjiro, the other two outside with disdain, with his face. Although I don't have any talent, I still have to learn to be a swordsman. You are such a boring and foolish son Akatsuro. I have persuaded you a long time ago, but you stubbornly refuse to listen. Now. Chapter 331 Herd of Breath of the Sun. But what I never expected was that you could not even beat a mere Wind String 3 and your husband lost all the face of the Purgatory. Human abilities are destined from the moment they are born. Talented people are always just a small part of them. People other than this are destined to be all mobs, just worthless dust. That guy Shingshoro is no exception. He obviously has no talent, but it would be strange if he is not defeated. Chanshorothing has developed into the current situation, and you still have to put that sad face until, when? For that guy Atsuru, not dying on the battlefield, it was his greatest blessing. Wait a moment. Tanjiro Kaoru stood in front of Chishoro Purgatory with an angry look on his face. He shouted loudly toward the Purgatory opposite Shoro. You're saying this too much, right? Please don't say that to Mr. Atsuru. Which onion are you? Purgatory Shoro shouted without hesitation. Get out, don't step into my house. Wait a moment. When Purgatory's eyes accidentally passed the pair of decorative cards in Tanjiro's ears. The whole person was stunned. Even the voice trembled slightly. The wine pot in his hand fell directly to the ground. It was smashed to pieces. You Ariso, that's it. You are the user of sun breath, right? It's not wrong. You guy is treating us as idiots, right? Tanjiro Kaoru was immediately confused when he was said. He yelled to defend himself. I don't understand what you are saying. Therate's just unreasonable. Bastard, because you are the user of sun breath. The expression on Purgatory Shoro's face was also furious. It was like Tanjiro, the opposite side of the sauna. There is something he always wants to get but hasn't gotten. Said viciously. I know your earring sights all recorded in the book. Tanjiro Zaoman was speechless. Thinking in my heart. Is the god of fire god dance he practiced is the breath of sun what the other party said. When the Purgatory Shoro on the opposite side saw that he didn't speak. The anger in my heart is even stronger. Continue to point out and shout. It's not wrong, sun breath is start breath. It is the earliest birth of breathing, the most powerful skill. All the other breathing are just derivatives of breathing of sun. All breathing cannot be compared with sun breathing, it is just a clumsy imitation of sun breathing dong shisho pin. Whether it is fire, water, wind, or everything else is. Chapter 331 Are those two swordsmen really not pillar? Don't think you are a user of sun breathing and you can be so proud of me. Quote. Tanjiro Zaoman kept recalling his family who had been dead for a long time in his mind. And the battle last night that he would never forget. Suddenly, he roared with tears in his eyes. How could I feel proud? Do you know how much I hate my weakness now? You bastard uncle. You are not allowed to say bad things about Mr. Purgatory. Tanjiro Zaoman suddenly rushed towards the Purgatory Shoro opposite like crazy. Dangerous father turned out to be Pillar. Seeing this, Chishoro of Purgatory quickly reminded with anxiety on his face. Only. The Purgatory opposite Shoro's movements were obviously faster than him. Bang 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 bang. Bang 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 bang. Just a meeting. Tanjiro of the Sonoman was completely suppressed by Purgatory Shoro. An old fist full of anger hit the former's face. Blood marks splashed. If sun breathing is really that powerful, then why didn't I help Mr. Purgatory at that time? Why? That old boxer. If you overwhelmed Tanjiro's last straw. He exerted force vigorously. He directly knocked down the Purgatory Shoro opposite with a rotating big head hammer. This farce finally came to an end from now on. After that, Tanjiro Kaoru was invited into the house by Chishoro Purgatory. The two sat opposite each other. Tanjiro Zaoman looked apologetic. After all, no matter how annoying the old man is, he is both the father of Mr. Atsushiro. I have already asked for it. Now he used the header to knock the opponent out of sight. Ah! Tanjiro Zaoman suddenly felt a headache. The whole thing became bad at once. That really sorry for hitting your father with a header, is he okay? It should be fine now. Purgatory Chishoro said with a smile. After my father woke up, he went out to buy wine. But thank you very much. That was a breath for me just now. When my father was talking bad things about my brother, I didn't dare to stop talking. But can you tell me how did my brother fight that day? Tanjiro Sosman nodded 0. Then everything that happened last night was about to happen. Said it all truthfully. 3.9 inches, that's right. Purgatory Chishoro was greatly encouraged by hearing this. He bowed to Tanjiro, the opposite Sosman, with a grateful look on his face and said, "Thank you so much. I can tell me your brother's heroic spirit. But those two swordsmen who are stronger than their brother, aren't they really pillars?" Chapter 332 Take EU as the target. Well, they are another world, well, from another powerful country. Tanjiro Zaoman originally wanted to talk about another world. Although he was not present when Yaha met Saya Shikia and Kyubu that day. But since that day, during these 3 months, he also heard a lot of rumors about EU from the Demon Slayer. Of course, most of these rumors are useless information that is not painful or itchy. For example, what female members care about the most? They all have EU's handsome appearance. For what male members care about the most? All of them are EU's unrivaled powerful strength, etc. But Tanjiro Zaoman still learned some information from it. Added the reminder when Tomuka Yoshiotomi was leaving. It made him more and more convinced that EU is powerful. Only. Can't say if it's because of jealousy or something. Regarding EU's appearance, Tanjiro Zaoman always feels disgusting and repulsive. This is really great. A hint of joy appeared on Purgatory Atsushiro's face. He said with a burning look. With their help, maybe the long-standing wish of my father and brother can really be realized in this era. I hope. Tanjiro Zaoman responded softly with a complicated expression. Next. According to the message from his elder brother Atsushiro. He searched through the boxes and cabinets and found the notes compiled by the 21st generation Yenju. However, just after Tanjiro Kaoru opened the notes with hope. But he was shocked to find out. All the contents inside have been torn apart. Become fragmented. Can't read normally at all. I'm really sorry, I've never opened this book before, so I didn't know that the contents were destroyed. Purgatory Chishoro said apologetically. The books of Yan Pillar in all dynasties are all carefully preserved valuable items. I guess they should beta father tore them apart. It's okay, this is not your fault, Chishoro, please don't care. Although Tanjiro Zaoman was a little disappointed. But he was not discouraged. He has already received a lot of useful information from Purgatory Shoro today. This has made his goal much clearer. No longer as confused as before. Tanjiro Zaoman will do 283 next. Just figure out what is going on with sun breathing. Then before the next battle comes, improve your strength to the maximum limit. In order to face a strong enemy. No longer so weak and powerless. Somehow. In Tanjiro Sagamon's mind. Yi Yu's extremely handsome and exquisite face appeared again. Wait and see. Yi Yu. My Tanjiro Kaoru will never lose to you. At least. I will never lose so ugly. Chapter 333 Want to become stronger. You came here specially after your brother's instructions to investigate the relationship between God of Fire God and the father's name, Breath of Sun, but returned empty-handed. Purgatory Chishoro seemed a little disgusted. After all, this was what his elder brother had instructed him. It's okay. Tanjiro Kaoru smiled and waved his hand and said. I already know what I should do now, and I need to exercise harder. I know all the dance moves of God of Fire God, but I still can't use them proficiently. If you use God of Fire God in the full collection state, the side effects will be much greater than what you think. These are all my own problems. My body cannot withstand such moves. Although my physical strength has indeed improved after learning to full concentration and regular peaks, it is still obviously not enough. I heard that if I learn Changjong, although my physical strength will increase day by day, I cannot quickly become stronger in a short period of time. Tanjiro Zaoman recalled the battle last night again in his mind. He continued to say unwillingly. At that time, if I could get stronger. If there is something to do, the method can make himself stronger in an instant. If he can help Mr. Purgatory, he will not be seriously injured by Jie Ming and wrong. Quote. At the same time, Ghost Killing Team will not be despised for this. After I came back, I kept thinking about these questions, but I couldn't imagine such a coincidence because there was no shortcut to copy. There is no shortcut to becoming stronger, I can only keep striving. I will do my best to move forward no matter how painful it is, how unwilling it is. Tanjiro Zaoman seemed to have made some belief and decision in his heart. Clench your fists hard. Suddenly increasing the decibel said passionately. And one day, I must become a powerful pillar like Mr. Ainshiro Purgatory, and I will definitely do it. Brother has no stepson. Purgatory Chishoro seemed to be influenced by Tanjiro Kazuno's words just now. A touching look on his face. Looking at the vibrant scenery outside the house. He murmured thoughtfully. It was originally supposed to be his stepson, and I had accumulated a record in order to become that yellow pillar. But Might Rider knife has never changed color. The swordsmanship must reach a certain level. Rider knife will change color only, it's good for money, let's. But no matter how hard I practice, I still can't do it. Later I decided to give up my identity as a swordsman. I want to help others in other ways, although such a decision will cut off the Purgatory's fire pillar inheritance and leave an indelible stain on the family's long history. But brother, he will definitely forgive me. Chapter 334 Return to the Demon Slayer team. Tanjiro Kazuno and Chishoro Purgatory. Then he fell into silence. Not long after that, Tanjiro from the Sauceman walked out of the Purgatory. At the same time, an unexpected visitor was welcomed in Butterfly House. It was before this. Created the steel Tumura of Hawkeye and Zoro Harak knife. What did you say? The Hydran knife I created was broken with a fist in the battle. Facing Zoro at this moment, Steel Tomb Tsubasa was full of anger and disbelief. He is very confident in his knives. Absolutely 283 don't believe it. There is a ghost that can break the Hydroop knife he created with just the strength of his fist. Zoro on the opposite side didn't say much. He just threw the high wheel knife broken by Akaza to the other party's feet. Fisho, is this possible? Seeing this, the iron and steel tomb fire suddenly stopped. I suddenly became speechless. The facts are in front of you. His momentum suddenly declined. However, when his eyes glimpsed the three famous swords AEDJ hanging around Zoro's waist, and the black knife katakana middle dot night time behind Hawkeye, he was shocked immediately. no longer care about the dignity of being a well-known sword-forging man. He knelt down all the way to the two of them. Pointing at the 4 famous swords, he begged. Can you lend me these 4 knives to take a look? Cannot. Zoro refused without thinking. Joke. These knives are all treasures that are as important as his life. How could it be lent to others casually? Hawkeye didn't speak. But obviously the same attitude as Zoro. Black Knife Katakana middle yi is equivalent to his spiritual companion. Be the most important partner. Let me ask. You will be a woman who is extremely important to you. Lend it to others to see. Please, I have never seen such a great magic weapon before. Please. Steel Tomb Ying was still stubborn and wanted to borrow a knife to see it. But then he was stopped by Shizuya Shikia. Okay, Master Iron Tomb, Lord Mihawk and Mr. Zoro are our distinguished guests of the Demon Killing Team. Since they don't agree, don't continue to force it. I'm asking you to come this time because I hope you can forge a new Hydro Ring sword for Mr. Zoro in preparation for the next battle. I wonder how long it will take for Master Iron Mausoleum to complete it. Although the Iron Tomb is full of swords. But he was like an imperial decree to Shikia's words. Although I still feel reluctant to leave. But he immediately said seriously. If you work day and night you can create a new Rider knife in as early as 1 week. Very good. Saya Shikia nodded with satisfaction. Then he turned to Hawkeye and Zoro and asked. To please stay at the Ghost Killing Team headquarters for a few more days. Chapter 335 Yu's new instruction, Yoshihara Flower Street. Okay. A rare opening for Hawkeye. Said simply. This morning we have received the latest news from His Majesty Yu through telephone Borm. The next target is Yoshihara Flower Street. Before the Hydroop killing complete the forging, I'll ask you Ghost Killing Team to send members to go there to find out the true news about the ghost. Yoshihara Flower Street. There is actually winning ghost exist. Quote. A look of surprise and shock appeared on Yoyashiki Saya's face. If there is no news about Yu, he would never believe in that kind of prosperity. There is actually Shang String Ghost. Because Ghost Killing Team was before. I have never received any news about ghost cannibalism. Only. Shizuya Shikia now has great trust in everything Yu. Of course there will be no doubt at all. Immediately nodded. No problem. Yoshihara Flower Street is very close to Yinju Yuxi Tianyuan Station. I will send him to find out the news in person. A week passed in a flash. However, Hawkeye and Zoro did not wait for the information they deserved. Sound Pillar Yuxi Tianyuan reported urgently a day ago. The investigation and survey operation of Yoshihara Flower Street was a little unexpected. It may take 2 more days to correct the error. By then, no need for Hawkeye and Zoro to take action. He will return to the Ghost Kill Team headquarters with the head of the winning ghost. I was naturally very impatient about this. In theory, Yuxi Tianyuan has always been safe in doing things. An accident happened this time. I guess that winning ghost hidden in Yoshihara Flower Street is very cunning. But Hawkeye and Zoro. But he ignored Yuxi Tianyuan's proposal. Even if Ghost Kill Team can't do it, then they will find it themselves. Although they have not practiced the breathing method, it is impossible to accurately smell the unique stench emitted from the body of Ghost. But with the powerful seeing and sex domineering. But it can be easy. Screening out those existences that are far superior to ordinary people in a large range of people. Then compare one by one. It can also lock the exact position of winning ghost. It just takes a little more effort. So the two asked Yuya Shikia for a guide. So he set out to Yoshihara Flower Street by himself. Although Shikia tried hard to explain and try to keep him. But he still failed to impress the two of them. After all, Yu issued the order to rest for a week directly. For Hawkeye and Zoro, the orders of His Majesty the Great Emperor are more important than anything else. There is absolutely no delay. At last, after Zoro took over the brand new Hydro Kill sent by Steel Suka, Then he was in the helpless gaze of Shikia. There is another guide with Hawkeye. The three of them set off together. Why? Yoyashiki felt the aura of Hawkeye and the others gradually faded away. He couldn't help but let out a long sigh. Mouth. Chapter 336, The Little Thoughts of Giving Birth to Yoshiki. Tinian, it seems that our ghost-killing team is really a little neglected this time. Husband, I think you are too careful, right? Sayashiki Tenon comforted with a smile. I think those two adults are just trying to complete the tasks assigned by His Majesty Yu, and they don't mean to blame you. What's more, Yinju has always been safe and effective in doing things. This time I must have encountered some extremely difficult problems, so I chose to delay time. I understand everything you said. After hearing this, Yoyashikia did not feel relieved at all. Instead, he kept shaking his head. But have you ever thought that there is news that Winning Ghost isn't Yoshihara Flower Street? It turns out that it was provided by His Majesty Yu for our ghost-killing team. But now, we have sent the best staff, but we have no progress or clues for a week. Such efficiency may make our reputation as ghost-kill team disappear. Although I don't know how His Majesty Yu knows the location of the Winning Ghost for the time being, first there is Infinite Train, then Yihara Flower Street. This is enough to show that the Dragon Empire ruled by His Majesty Yu is far away from the ghost-killing team in terms of intelligence collection efficiency. It seems that over the years, our family of sacrificing people have really become a bit self-consistent. Compared with His Majesty Yu and the Dragon Empire, he ruled the continuation of the Thanyashiki clan for thousands of years is not worth mentioning at all. Husband, if you do this it's a bit too self-deprecating, right? Thanyashiki Tinin quickly spoke up and comforted. Although His Majesty Yu's Dragon Empire is very powerful, before this adult appears the humans in this world will be jointly produced by our family and the ghost-killing team. Guardian. Quote. I heard my wife say this. The frustrated expression on Yoyaya's face only slightly relieved. But his brows. But it still doesn't feel relieved. Instead, the locks get deeper and deeper. If you are a person, you will have selfishness. He gave birth to Shikia naturally was not good at other people. After learning that you may be asking for fate. In his heart. Naturally, I want to get more things. For example. Next, under the rule of Yu and the Dragon Empire. Shizuya Shikia hopes that he and the demon-killing team can also become one of Yu's members. So. Only then will he voluntarily let go of all his figure. With a humble and extremely humble attitude. We will fully cater to all the requests made by Yu. 3.9 After all, it is for promotion and wealth. Don't be shattered. But Fire Pillar killed Shang String 3 failure. Add Song column to query Yoshihara Flower Street to fail in the action of Winding Ghost. It is tantamount to directly disqualifying the qualification to join the family. And on his head. The big three words, very useless, were printed. Chapter 337 Sound Pillar Yuxi Tianyuan. It is precisely because of this. This also made Yoyashiya in his heart. It is very rare to feel a little anger and reluctance. If it was before. Knowing that he will die soon, Yoyashiya. It is absolutely impossible to have such emotions. Tinian, send a message to Yuxi Tianyuan immediately no matter what the price he pays. He must rush to get ahead of Hawkeye and Zoro to solve the trouble on Yasuhara Flower Street. After thinking for a while, Yoyashiki Saya thought for a while. After all, I still couldn't completely give up the idea of being impatient in my heart. He decided. Finally, I'm trying it out. Wealth and honor are in danger. Take O for a try. Bicycles turn into motorcycles. On the other side. Open black lens bracket butterfly house close black lens bracket. The injuries on Tanjiro Zaoman were not serious. Just exhausted. And the stab at the cabin crew stabbed in the abdomen. During a few days of recovery. It's already gone. So he spontaneously followed my wife, Samono and Inosuke. A new round of exercise began. And the seriously injured Purgatory Atsuru. He is still in a coma. Although it is not life-threatening. But it looks like there should be no chance of waking up in a short period of time. Then please let us go. Ishii's not. Please, please let us go. The screams of two girls, Aoi Kanzaki and Nei Takata under Butterfly Ninja. It instantly resounded throughout the butterfly house. After hearing the news, Tanjiro and the other three rushed out. But I saw a shocking scene. I saw sound pillar Yuxi Tianyuan. At this moment, I was carrying one on my shoulders. There is one under the armpit. He intends to use violence to forcefully abduct two panicked girls. Amid the crying sounds. Standing in a daze behind, I don't know what it is. I actually want to toss a coin. Let's decide whether she should stop Yuxi Tianyuan in the next step. After all, the other party's identity is not only pillar. At the same time, she was also recognized by her sister Butterfly Nin. Chanahu doesn't want Butterfly Ninja to embarrass other pillars. But at the same time, she recalled the words that Tanjiro Zaoman had said to her in her mind. Follow your inner choices. She was reminding her again. Right to decide. In fact, it has always been in her own hands. So 283. In order to save Aoi Kanzaki and Nei Takata, he held the corner of Yume Tenyuan's clothes tightly. After seeing Chanahu's actions, Sidori Ching and Nakabara Cheng. Then he also raised his courage. Let's go forward together and grab Yuxi Tianyuan. Don't let him leave. Kana, don't stumble on me so blankly. You just received the order. You talk to me what a stupid guy. I'm continuing to pull me but don't blame me for leaving you gorgeously. Yuxi Tianyuan turned around and said a little dissatisfied. Chapter 338, Snatch Someone. In theory. Now he just needs to use a little force. Then he could immediately shock all the girls including Chanahu. But he didn't choose to do that. After all, this time he came to capture Xiaokui and Xiaohui. Just to perform tasks. Things are too urgent. He had no time to explain to these little guys. That is a big matter that concerns the life and death of his three wives. After Tanjiro and others arrived, they even protested against Yuxi Tianyuan with them. Yuxi Tianyuan has become the sound pillar since it became. When have you ever been so angry? Immediately pointed at Tanjiro Kaoru and others and cursed. Do you, the lowest level soldier, still need your approval? Has your brain been blown up? Can't you see that I came here to take them away because I needed female team members to assist in the mission? Besides, they are not Butterfly's stepson. Even without her consent, there is no problem at all. Anyway, I'm going to take her to perform the mission this time. Although it's probably useless, I can be considered a team member for now. But it's obvious. This reason for Yuxi Tianyuan. It is impossible to impress the famous Holy Virgin Heart Tanjiro Kawaman. Everyone has a hidden secret. Please don't force others to do things without saying anything, and return Xiaokui and Xiaohui back. Tanjiro Yoshinori yelled sternly. It's boring, it's really boring. Yuxi Tianyuan looked at Tanjiro Zaoman with a silly expression. The other person's words. In his appearance. It's simply stinky. In order to complete the task. But even his three wives got in. Open black lens bracket ghost killing team close black lens bracket Chinese calendar column of generation. And other ordinary members. I don't know how many deaths have been made for this. If you don't have the awareness of dying for the demon killing team at any time, then join the ghost killing team. Yuxi Tianyuan immediately retorted. It is because of your stupid and indecisive virtue that the ghost killing team becomes weaker and weaker. This matter is related to the honor of the entire ghost killing team and the top priority of the leader's future. I don't have time to waste it on you guys. Wait a moment. When Tanjiro Zaoman saw Yume Tianyuan jump to leave, he quickly pointed to my wife, Yoshiro and Inosuke, who were standing beside him. He shouted loudly. Let them go with you instead of them. Oh, is that true? Yuxi Tianyuan's face showed a look of surprise. But then I thought that this time the female team member was just a bait that caused the snake to freeze. And now Hawkeye and Zoro have set out. Time is urgent. I didn't want to continue to waste time with Tanjiro, the other three. Chapter 339 New Mission, Find a Wife. Then you guys come together. Yuxi Tianyuan didn't intend to delay. Immediately nodded and agreed. But you three must not violate my orders. So the farce finally came to an end. And before leaving, Umi Tianyuan finally told Tanjiro the three of Zaoman. Their destination for this trip. That is the most sensual and colorful place in the country that is about to go to. It is the flower street where lives. And in order to avoid the next action of 270. Yuxi Tianyuan reiterated his request. The relationship between them must be clarified. That is to say, he is high above all else. The god of gorgeous memorial. And the three Tanjiro Kaoru are the most humble scum. He asked the dog to bark. The three of Tanjiro, the sauceman, must learn to bark. He asked to learn to dress up monkeys. The three of Tanjiro, the Zaoman, must learn to dress up as monkeys. It must be always nodding and bowing. Only by rubbing hands and looking at Yuxi Tianyuan's eyes were done. Also be respectful. Only by serving him wholeheartedly. After some words. Seeing this, Tanjiro Kaoru and my wife Simone were both confused. But this arrogant tone. But it is very consistent with Yoahira Inosuke's temper. I immediately inserted my waist and said. He is the king of the mountains and forests. The scene suddenly fell into an embarrassing situation where you could deduct 3 bedrooms and 1 living room with your feet. I don't have time to continue playing with you here. On the way to Yoshihara Flower Street, I will pass by Fujiya House. I will go there first to prepare the work. Let's go. As the words fell, Yuxi Tianyuan's figure had already run away from afar. So fast. The three of Tanjiro Zaoman were shocked. The three of them followed immediately. Heading towards the transit station Tiangjujia. The so-called Tiangjujia. In fact, it refers to those residences with vine flower family pattern printed on the houses. Anyone with such a home pattern printed on it. That means people living here will help demon killing team for free. After the group rushed to Tengji House quickly, Yuxi Tianyuan ordered the people from Tiangjujia. Prepare for this time Tanjiro to sneak into Yuguo. Camouflage props needed. And after everything is arranged, Yuxi Tianyuan came to the room where Tanjilang and the other three were located. After sitting down, facing the 3 people who were having supper, it tells the purpose of going to Yuguo this time. Yuxi Tianyuan said in a deep voice. After we successfully sneaked into Waji this time, the 3 of you sneaked into Yuguo to find my wife in women's clothing. Then I will search for the information I collected from them and I will personally search for the information about Ghost. The 3 of them heard this. He immediately looked at Yuxi Tianyuan in a daze. Nani? Looking for a wife? Are you kidding us? We came here from afar. Just to help you find a wife. Chapter 340 Is his wife an undercover agent? What's this with what? My wife, Shan Yi, was even more jealous and shouted in a furious manner. We rushed here all the way, was it just to find your wife first? Tanjiro Zaoman nodded and said. Mr. Yuxi, please stop joking with us. The primary task is to ask subordinates to do private affairs for themselves and find a wife. I clearly remember that you have said before that this mission must be killed before the 2 swordsmen sent by Yi Yu. Don't we have no time to waste it now, right? Huh. After Yuxi Tianyuan heard the words of the 3 of them, suddenly he became black. Pointing to my wife Shan Yi across the street, he said. What are you fools, who are you misunderstandings? I won't ask you to finish it. My wife Shan Yi becomes more and more angry as she speaks. He actually ignored Tanjiro Kaoru's dissuasion. He stood up and shouted at Yuxi Tianyuan opposite him. If you think about it, you will know that a weird guy like you must have never been very popular. But, I didn't expect that people like you actually wanted to see the old man because they wanted to see him. Mom, just casually call us 3 members of the Demon Slayer. Your behavior is simply a sign of selfishness. Are you a fool? However, my wife, Simon Yam, has not finished speaking. Yuxi Tianyuan on the opposite side was still yelling with anger on his face. My wife sneaked into the flower street and was also trying hard to help me collect information about winning Ghost. If it weren't for the sudden break of regular contacts, I wouldn't have come here on behalf of you three idiots. You little bastard. I have sent all my 3 wives here to be undercover in order to successfully overcome the progress of the Dragon Empire in these days. You kid actually dares to whine to me in front of me. Don't you want to live anymore? Ah. Tanjiro Kaoru and the other 2 were suddenly staring with shock. What's your mother doing? The dignified sound column. He actually sent his wife. Come to Flower Street to be an undercover agent. Is this guy Yuxi Tianyuan crazy? Or does he have some extremely serious evil plot? I will never believe it. My wife, Cecilia, kept shaking her head and said, I'm afraid all these are thought out of nothing, right? Stupid little guy. Yuxi Tianyuan was furious. Directly from your arms. He took out the letters he used to contact his 3 wives. Thousands of smashed over. Chapter 341 Damn, Yinju has 3 wives. Bastard, open your dog's eyes immediately and take a closer look. These are all letters we used to contact us using, which recorded the information they collected over the past week. Yuxi Tianyuan shouted in anger. It seems that there are really many. Tanjiro Kaoru picked up the letters from the ground one by one. Then he said with emotion. It seems that it's been in a long time. It's only been 1 week. Yuxi Tianyuan said with an unhappy look. It's just because I have 3 wives, so much information has been passed on. Wait a minute. My wife, Cecilia, climbed up from the ground. He shouted with an extremely exaggerated expression. 3 wives. 3, are you, what you said true? You're not kidding or bragging, why do you have 3 wives? This is simply impossible. As we all know. Among the group. My wife, Sissy, is the one who wants to have a girlfriend the most. Now. After hearing that Yuxi Tianyuan actually has 3 wives. This guy was almost shocked to the point of being extremely shocked. It shouldn't be. It's right to say it's envy. Do you have any comments? Little bastard. The unbearable Yuxi Tianyuan. A body flashed. He actually punched my wife, Simon Yi, who had an ugly expression on the opposite side, and fainted. Tanjiro Kaoru was so scared that he shivered. The style of doing things in front of you. But with Yoshiaki Temuka. And the completely different behavior of Purgatory Apricot Tsururo. I repeatedly emphasized on the letter that we should be as low-key as possible when we come and not be too eye-catching. What should we do specifically? Tanjiro Zaoman was not worried about my wife Simone who fainted. After all, he knew it in his heart. Even if Yuxi Tianyuan has a more unrestrained style of acting. It's absolutely impossible. They are the members of the Demon Slayer. Then. He picked up the letters and looked at them for a while. Then he asked with confusion on his face. I've obviously told you guys before. Yuxi Tianyuan said impatiently. Of course the solution is to pretend to be a companion. Although I'm not willing, if I don't want to be noticed by the winding ghost in the information in advance, it seems that I can only use this old-fashioned method. And you 3 can only feel aggrieved. They dress up cheesy 5.8 points and then sneak in and do something well. My 3 wives are all extremely excellent female ninjas. Actually, before Mr. Yu came from the Dragon Empire, I had already discovered that the Flower Street here is definitely an excellent hiding place for Ghost. Chapter 342 3 Goals. But in the previous week, when I sneaked in as a guest, I was unable to successfully pull out the ghost tail at all. After thinking about it, I finally decided to let them sneak into a deeper interior that guests cannot reach. Although this approach seems a bit dangerous, I have to say that the effect is very obvious. After a week of undercover investigation, the 3 of them have basically successfully screened out 3 more suspicious stores. And all you 3 need to do is to go there to find my wives, complete docking with them, and obtain the information they have in their hands. Their names are Suma from Shirenya, Ogimoto, and Hinaki from Kyokoya. I believe it. I can almost be sure that one of them should have found clues of the winding ghost. The expression on Yuxi Tianyuan's face became more and more confident. He continued with a serious tone. So you just need to contact the three of them and secretly pass the corresponding news to me. This number matter what, we must complete the task before the two swordsmen sent by Mr. Yu in order to successfully win a game for the Lord and the ghost-killing team. Quote. It's at this moment. Inosuke, who just finished the bento. Suddenly, she looked at Shang Yuxi with a cute face. Maybe your three wives are dead. Hiss. The atmosphere in the room instantly solidified. Tanjiro Zaoman was frightened to death. However, before he could apologize, Yuxi Tianyuan, who was full of anger on the opposite side. It was already lightning proof. He directly knocked Yuki Inosuke out with one punch. I ended up fainting like my wife, Shan Yi. Yuxi Tiank really regrets it now. Why? I have to bring these three idiots here. These stupid guys. Are you really here to help? Or is it here to make trouble? Jiwan Flower Street. This is the gathering of vanity and desire of men and women. An absolute night street where love and hate blend. Red Light District Street. As the name implies, it is the many streets formed by a whole area. Geishas living here at 833. Most of them are because of poverty. Or owed huge amounts of money. And it was sold here. In them. They all carry the endless sufferings in this world. But correspondingly, they are here. You can also get basic guarantees for food and clothing and money. If some of them. If you can make a name for yourself in the Flower Street. Marry from a good family to a wealthy family. It's not impossible. So, these geishas do not exclude life here. Chapter 343 Yoshihara Flower Street. The entire Flower Street is a prosperous scene. And among these geishas, the courtesan is the highest position in geisha. The status of the courtesan is extremely special. Her existence. It combines beauty and cultivation. Extremely special synonyms for women. And in this, those higher-ranking courtesans. Even if ordinary people are willing to take out money. I'm afraid I'll meet you for a while. It cannot be seen easily. And in order to have a tryst with the courtesan, men are also rushing to flock into the street. And in various stores, put the money in their pockets. All are poured out. Hope this. Such actions can be favored by the courtesans. After a night of rest, Yuxi Tianyuan asks the hostess of the Tengji house where they live. The three of Tanjiro Zaoman were modified. However, the modification result. But it's somewhat ridiculous. That afternoon. Yoshihara Flower Street. A white-haired adult man. He led three ugly girls to open the door of a geisha shop. The shop owner and his wife dressed up after seeing the three girls. Suddenly, he was so confused. And standing opposite them. It was Tanjiro, my wife, Samono, and Inosuke, who was the three of them. Only. Their current pseudonyms are Shanzi, Tanzi, and Pigsy. Oh, these kids are really ugly. The female shop owner said with a weird expression. Yes, I'm really sorry, it's really inconvenient for us here. The male shop owner waved his hand with disgust and said. And I just collected a few new girls a few days ago. Please be more comfortable with both of you. Yuxi Tianyuan Longsheng spoke. I believe that these children will be able to shine as long as they are carefully trained by the boss lady. I have to say. After removing the flashy companion. The Yuxi Tianyuan, which reveals its original appearance. It can really be described as handsome. Plus. The three clown ghosts of Tanjiro, Kawaman. The female shop owner was squinting on the spot. Sorry, sir, The male shop owner dared not offend the tall Yuxi Tianyuan. Just as he was about to politely refuse him. But don't want to. The female shop owner next to him nodded happily in agreement. Then just accept one person. If you only accept one person, it's not impossible. The female shop owner nodded slightly red in agreement. The male shop owner next to him was so jealous. Then please ask you to take in one of them and make trouble for you, madam. Is Yuxi Tianyuan very rare? He spoke politely. Then choose the kid in the middle, it looks quite honest. The female shop owner thought about it. Finally he spoke. Chapter 344 The Courtesan. After some discussion, the female shop owner learns from her strengths and weaknesses. A big guy is drawn from the short guy. Finally among the three, I chose the more honest Kawaman Tanjiro. Please rest assured, I will work hard. Tanjiro Kaoru quickly stepped forward. Nodded and agreed. That's all. Tanjiro Sayoman successfully entered Shirin house. And when leaving, Umi Tianyuan brings the remaining wife Simone and Viagra Inosuke. Continue to the other two geisha management. I said you guys are really useless. You can only jump off the building and sell them out, so someone is willing to accept you. On the way, Yuxi Tianyuan weighed the money in his hand. He said with a look of dissatisfaction. Damn it, I have nothing to say to you. My wife, Shan Yi, muttered with an unhappy look on her face. What's wrong? I'm making you mess up in women's clothing. Didn't I say this a long time ago? No matter how I ask you, you have to do whatever you want to come with me. The blue veins on Yuxi Tianyuan's forehead exploded. I have a kind of stinky brat who wants to give my wife, Shan Yi, this one who doesn't understand the form. A thrilling urge. And at this moment, my wife, Shang Yi's psychology. In fact, I have already felt more and more crazy. For him, women's clothing or something. Jishi is nothing at all. But Yuxi Tianyuan's handsome face. But it made him extremely angry. It can even be said to be a little jealous. Because my wife, Simono, did not see Yu on Nation Spider Mountain. So, in his perception, after removing makeup, Yuxi Tianyuan can be said to be the most handsome man he has ever met. More handsome than the strong man of Inosuke, Jupiter. This made my wife Shani very unhappy. And on weekdays, Yuxi Tianyuan dresses very gorgeously. Or very exaggerated. This also directly made everyone ignore his true appearance. And now, after he removed all the exaggerated headgear and accessories, an extremely handsome face was revealed. How could you say my wife Shani not feel unhappy? At this moment, Inosuke, who had been wandering around the world before. But suddenly he pointed to the crowded street and shouted. Hey, look, there seem to be a lot of people gathered over there to watch the fun. What happened? Oh, isn't that the courtesan parade? Yuxi Tianyuan turned his head and looked into the distance. Then he nodded very familiarly and said. That's the Li Sha courtesan of the house of the time. It's the highest class wanderer who is attracting customers for her shop, but then again, such a scene is really gorgeous. If you want to spend a spring night with her, it should cost a lot of money. If this mission is not so urgent and the three of them have not disappeared, I might really go to this courtesan to have some wine or something at this time. Chapter 345 Infiltrate inside. Now, in the middle of the street not far from Yuxi Tianyuan and the other two. One dressed in gorgeous clothes. A beautiful woman. Surrounded by several servants. Move forward slowly. For the crowd gathered around him to watch. It can be said to be very lively. Wife. Could that woman be your wife? My wife, Shani, was immediately jealous. With an extremely exaggerated expression, he came to Yuxi Tianyuan. He shouted. How could such a beauty be your wife? It's so too much. Not only do you have 3 wives, but you're all like that. Ah. Bastard, don't you think about it there. When did I say she was my wife? Yuxi Tianyuan can't bear it anymore. A punch was made when you turned around. He directly knocked my wife, Sissy, out. And shouted at him angrily. Their names are written on the ranking list, so you can tell at a glance. You idiot, if you dare to chatter like you just now, I will definitely not be able to spare you. And just as the two of them were mixed together. The Sir Inosuke who has been standing by the side. But he stared at the pedestrian and said disdainfully. It's too slow to walk. If they were in the mountains, they would all be killed immediately. Only. Before Yuxi Tianyuan could speak. A figure. Then he emerged directly from behind Inosuke Yuhei. It was a middle-aged woman. Before this, she had been paying attention to the sage Inosuke here. Walk straight to Yuxi Tianyuan opposite. He smiled and said. Sorry, boss, let our family accept this kid, is that okay? Oh, by the way, I am the madam of Ogimotoya who likes someone, but I will never misjudgment. This child is very talented. That's really thankful to Ogimotoya. It's a great honor for them to fall in love with such an ugly child. 0. Yuxi Tianyuan's face showed a look of overjoyment. Put your hands together to express your gratitude. And after Inosuke Yuhei and the madam left, Yuxi Tianyuan looked disgusted. Looking at my wife, Simon, who was alone in a daze beside her. He spoke lightly. I saw that there was no one left in the end, it was you. My wife Shani suddenly burst into blue veins on her forehead when she heard this. But, at the moment, he was powerless to refute. Because what the other party said was the truth. He is the only one who is too ugly. No one wants it. And it's just Yuxi Tianyuan and my wife Shani. While rushing to the last Kyoko house. Bring Hirai Inosuke back to the madam in Ogimotoya. He took off his makeup for Hinatosuke. Then I made a new look. The whole person suddenly became completely renewed. Chapter 346 The guy who is disliked. Look, how about this, it's just that the beautiful girl has arrived. The madam wiped the sweat from her forehead. He said proudly. As a senior madam who has been immersed in this world for decades, my eyes are poisonous. Oh, it's really amazing. Several geishas and maids next to them quickly applauded and flattered. Although it's here that time, her upper face was weirdly applied, but after taking off her makeup, Ju-ran became so beautiful. Quote. We are really making a fortune this time when we can buy such a beautiful child at such a cheap price. The madam rolled up her sleeves with pride. He said with great enthusiasm. I will definitely train her myself and I will definitely make her become more popular than the Fernji and Kyokoya and the Li Sha and Shirenya. I want to make the little piglet become the most famous and popular top brand on Yoshihara Flower Street. After saying that, the madam and a maid pull up the hands of Inosuke Yoshihiro. Then he walked into the inner room. But then again, isn't this kid a little inexplicably strong? Well, aren't the rolling kids better? This is obviously not meat. Rolling, it's stone, soft, right? The maid showed a look of confusion on her face. But the madam didn't care at all. No way. Hidden under the bright face of Inosuke. But the firm muscles meat. That have been tempered for a long time. This is him in the forest. A must-have condition to survive. And at the same time, my wife, Simono, was finally barely taken in by Kyokoya. As for the reason, very simple. That's because my wife, Sunyi, can play Sanwakusen. Open black lens bracket Kyoko house close black lens bracket middle. A storm of frenzy music lingered. Several geishas sat around each other. Watching my wife, Simon A, playing opposite her. Then the kids, Sanwakusen plays so well. Yes, it sounds so courageous. That's right, but looking at this outfit, it seems like I've been here recently. It is said that she has a good listening ability. Whether it is Sanwakusen or the Junction, she can successfully play it as long as she listens at once. If that's the case, she's really a talented child. Although that's what I said, I'm just a little ugly. 0.2 inches. If you have this kind of look, the owner is willing to take her in. I heard from my mother that it seems to be brought by a handsome guy. Really, I want to go and see it too. It's absolutely impossible to be wrong. It is said that the madam was stunned at that time. Chapter 347 Something happened. Although this child is a little ugly, he has such a high talent. I believe that as long as he is properly trained in the future, he will still have the opportunity to continue climbing up. Well, I can also feel that she is striving to make a strong sense of retaliation against the man who abandons herself. This kid is very strong. Is that true? Geisha around. They were pointing at my wife Shani who was playing desperately. And these gossips. 25 also fell into my wife Shani's ears. It made him angry. In my mind, I kept recalling that Yu Tianyuan successfully sold him to Kyokoya. And the words that made people almost crazy. It's okay to let him clean the toilet. You can do anything, just accept him. No problem with this kind of thing. Even if you don't have money, you can just give it to you for free. My wife, Shani, began to complain wildly in her heart. He wanted Yuxi Tianyuan to take a good look. He definitely wants to become the #1 celebrating party in Yoshihara Flower Street. Since then, Tanjiro, the three of Zaoman, successfully sneaked into the target geisha trap. Collect intelligence. It is naturally much more convenient. The next day, the Shi-Ren house where Tanjiro from the sauceman was sneaked into. Little Tansy, now there are some shortages of manpower. Can you help us move these goods in? A young geisha came over. He said with a smile to Tanjiro Kawaman who was tidying up his clothes. Okay, I'll move now. Tanjiro Zaoman responded with a gentle smile. I want to move them all to Li Xiaogu's room, right? Then I'll go right now. Little Tansy, you are really capable. Although the boss's wife got angry when she was found injured on her forehead after removing her makeup yesterday. But just this hard work is definitely not something that ordinary people can compare with. The geisha agreed to see that Tanjiro Kaoru was so happy. A gratitude smile suddenly appeared on his face. It's okay, I'm already grateful if I can make me work here. Tanjiro Kaoru doesn't care. Then he picked up several huge packages with both hands. Then he walked towards Li Xiaogu's room. And just as he was about to arrive at Li Xiaogu's room, 740. But on the way, unintentionally, I noticed the whispers of two geishas hiding in the corner. Hey, have you heard of it? The boss lady of Kyokoya seemed to have fallen from the window last night and fell to death. It's so scary. It seems we have to be careful too. That's right, the missing sisters who have been missing recently have become more and more, and it makes people feel a little chilling when they think about it. That's the two sisters, what is sweeping? Chapter 348 Escape. Tanjiro Zaoman looked curious and asked. I saw that the person coming was the new girl who came yesterday. The two girls immediately let go of their vigilant and defensive hearts. Smile. Hey, shout Tansy, don't you even know this? But why did you get so many packages by yourself? These are all gifts for Li Xiaoguang. So that's how it is. Sweeping means that those who choose to escape from here before they pay off their debts. But if you make such a move and get caught, it will be amazing. Oh, so that's how it is. Tanjiro Zaoman nodded with a sudden realization. Although before this, some people successfully ran away from the man they like. But that kind of case is really too rare. The sages of the sages we had here a few days ago, that's it. One of the little geishas said with envious expression. Apparently. If it wasn't for fear of being caught, we'll be beaten up. And torture more severely. These geishas. In fact, I had already had the intention of sweeping and leaving. Take grinding. That's not. Tanjiro Zaoman was shocked when he heard this. Isn't this Mr. Yuxi Tianyuan's wife? But how could she run away with others? Did something change between the two? Only. Before he could ask something again. The door behind you. Then it was slowly pulled away. You guys should not discuss those useless rumors after you guys. Did Zuma escape successfully or something unexpected happened? We have no way of knowing this. The carp and cabbage dressed in gorgeous costumes appeared at the door. First, he warned softly to the two little geishas. Then turn your head. He looked at Tanjiro, the sauceman who helped her bring her a large bag of small bags and said. Thank you, for helping me carry all the things over. After saying that, the carp and summer ceremonies came from their sleeves. Take out a pack of snacks. It stuffed directly into Tanjiro Kaoru's hand. Smilingly said. I'll give these little snacks to you and have to be eaten quietly by one person. I want it too. Kaokei. The other two little geishas saw this. He rushed to the front of Li Xiaogu. with pitiful eyes. He looked at the other party and said to please. No, you too, haven't you eaten it just now? Li Sha shook her head with embarrassment and refused. But these two girls. After all, she is a good sister who has been following her for a long time. How to say it? I felt a little unbearable. Between hesitation. Tanjiro, opposite the stove. But at this moment he suddenly spoke. Chapter 349, Missing. Was the courtesan, who escaped. Little Tansy, why do you ask about this kind of thing? The quintessential carp and two other little geishas. They turned their heads to look at Tanjiro, the kawaman opposite. There was a look of confusion in his eyes. Tanjiro Kaoru suddenly said something was wrong. He was a little too impatient at the time. I thought I must surpass the two swordsmen sent by Yi Yu. Only then will you forget your current identity. At the moment. If she says the wrong thing. Not only can Miss Zumo be found. Very likely. I'll be directly identified. He was kicked out of the house of the time. 180 stove door charcoal cure now. I really regretted my reckless behavior. Only. Now the words have already been said. Then he could only say with a tough bullet. Actually, the courtesan is my sister. Ah. Li Sha and the other two were all stunned by the clumsy excuse of Tanjiro Kaoru. Damn it. Obviously so ugly. How could it be the younger brother who is so beautiful? But Li Sha did not point it out. Instead, he shook his head slightly and said. Are you also sold to Waji after your sister? Yes. Tanjiro Zaoman pretended to be calm and said. But before that, I had contacted my sister in letters, so she shouldn't be able to sweet with others. So that's how it is. A very complicated look appeared on Li Sha's face. After hesitating for a moment. Then he spoke lightly. Indeed, even if it was me, I didn't think that Singzher would escape. She is a very serious person, and during the days we have been together, she definitely doesn't look like she was blinded by a man. But we found the diary she left behind, which seemed to be written on it her decision to escape. After all, we haven't heard that she was caught. If she could really escape from here, it would be a good future. At the end of the day. On Li Sha's face. It actually showed a dark look. Although she is ranked the highest. And high above. A glamorous top courtesan. But if there is a choice. If Li Sha chooses it with her own hands. She may be willing to be a good woman in an ordinary family. I don't want to be in this green building. What to do to force your face and smile. Become the top courtesy of others' money-making tools. After hearing this, Tanjiro Kaoru. Suddenly he fell into deep thought. Open black lens bracket foot draw close black lens bracket this statement. For the winding ghost hidden here. It's really easy to use. Even if someone disappears. It will only be considered to have escaped from Waji. Just in the diary. Make corresponding disguise. Open black lens bracket ghost close black lens bracket can be here. They will never be discovered by them once and for all. Chapter 350 hidden very well. No wonder this flower street. Often, young geishas disappear inexplicably. But ghost killing team before this. But I have never received any corresponding information or reports. Only. The deeper I understand Tanjiro Zaoman. A shock in my heart. It became more and more intense. Even the members of the ghost-killing team who were in it. No news was found in advance. Yi Yu that foreign guy. How to know in advance. And it's such accurate information. At the same time. On a roof of Yoshihara Flower Street. Yuxi Tianyuan was squatting on the tiles. Sharp gaze. There is constant flow between the three visiting villages. It has been a whole day and a half since time passed. But during this time. But there is no abnormality at all. It's just in Yuxi Tianyuan's heart. But I have an indescribable weird feeling. This winding ghost. It's really cunning. If you can't find the right time. I'm afraid it will never reveal the fox's tail easily. Although Yuxi Tianyuan's heart. It feels extremely bad. But I didn't find any ghost aura. It's like the truth shrouded in clouds and smoke. Although he could always vaguely detect something abnormal. But this winding ghost. It seems that it can hide its own breath very cleverly. Make yourself inconspicuous. It should be too late to calculate the time. The two swordsmen sent by Mr. Yu are still on the road at this moment. This time, no matter what I say, I must solve this winding ghost before the two of them officially arrive. Maybe, there will be a super gorgeous fight next. Thinking of this is really exciting. And just like Yu. Zero. At this time, Hawkeye and Zoro, under the guidance of the wizard, on the way to Yihara Flower Street. Only, I don't know whether it's intentional or unintentional. The guide led the two of them away, and one of them was not flat. And a time-consuming route. Who made the two of them know the way? Zero. Especially Zoro. Even after the two of them. But with the bonus of the powerful Luzai attribute, I'm often lost by myself. The guide and Hawkeye had to stop and go to find him first. Don't mention the speed. Can't raise it at all. Meanwhile on the other side, the Ogimotoya where Inosuke is located. I don't know if Miss Yu is fine and she locked herself in the room and didn't come out. I just said that I was feeling unwell, but I didn't even go to the hospital. If you don't come out to pick up customers, you'll probably be dragged out by the boss's wife.